first account of a woman getting paid for dancing can be traced back to the Bible. Oh, shit. Did I forget to ease you into this? It's a stripper. Um, it's a stripper episode, guys. Welcome back, you beautiful fucking humans, as is evidenced by that first sentence this week, which I totally fucking did on purpose. I can't ease stuff in at all. I'm really horrible about that. This week we're talking about strippers, and you can fact check that first piece of info all you want. It's true. Granted, it wasn't money she was paid. It was the head of John the Baptist on a platter, but still payment for dancing. First off, I want to state that I have the utmost respect for strippers or dancers, exotic dancers. It takes a lot of courage and confidence to do it. I personally thought about it, but I have neither the coordination nor the seduction skills for that, or the stamina, or probably the body. None of that, guys. So now I'm not going to go too in depth with the history, though. After I wrote out all the history of this, I kind of went a little in depth, but I'm not going to go as fully in depth as a lot of other stuff. But there's so much history out there for strippers. Who would have known? There's so much information. I learned so much stuff, just like an excessive amount of stuff. So let's just begin. So dancing to sexually stimulate is thought to have started as an ancient ritual to gain the favor of the goddesses of fertility and motherhood in hopes of reproduction and to increase the fertility of crops. Can I just say that people did a lot of fucking shit for to please the gods, and some of it was kind of fucked up. Go ahead and Google that shit, because some of that shit's fucking weird. During the height of the Greek and Roman empires, exotic dancers were also exotic dances were also performed by priestesses in sacred temples. Though I'm sure that if you did that now, you would never be allowed back in. I'd probably get kicked out of church. In Britain in the late 1800s, there was a rise in British burlesque houses, and a lady by the name of Lydia Johnson became one of the most famous burlesque dancers on the London stage. Now, burlesque started out as a complete act of music, singing, humor, dance, and theatrics and sex parody. Eventually, it was discovered that the main attraction was sex. Go figure, guys. So over time, they focused more on suggestive sexual dances, and routines turned really raunchy. I kind of want to see a return of the original burlesque routines. I like sexy and raunchy, but those original ones sound wicked fun. We should bring it back. So, back to the late 1800s is also when the striptease was introduced. And shortly after that, it led to other forms of exotic dances. There was a dance called the Hoochie Coochie, which is a fucking hysterical name. I had to fucking YouTube this because I'd never heard of it before. Honestly, I loved it. There is a video of a lady named Susie Sequin doing it. It's amazing. You need to go watch this video. It's fucking wicked awesome, actually. So now around the same time in Paris, the French can appeared, and it was made famous at the Moulin Rouge, which, side note, is an amazing movie. I know it's hit or miss for people, but I fucking love it. And I know that people are very torn about whether they like it. I love it. Ewan McGregor's my jam. Also, I'll be real, I love Star Wars, so seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi singing was amazing. But also, I love the movie. I think it's really good. Moving on. In the 1920s, a new twist on the striptease emerged with the addition of pole dancing. It started at the height of our depression, which, I mean, if anything can cure depression, it's seeing slightly naked ladies going around a pole. At the time, they would travel from town to town with other sideshows. So they would be in tents instead of like in a club or anything. So literally a pole. So um, the ladies, the ladies would incorporate the tent poles into their striptease. In the 1950s, it went from tents to bars. The elaborate costumes became part of the act. So their costumes became super elaborate. They moved out of the tents and into bars and stuff. Strip clubs were often raided and shut down for decency laws, but that didn't stop them from existing. We all remember how Prohibition went, right, guys? You can't stand between a man and his booze. Apparently, you can't stand between a man and his half-naked ladies either. This era saw new zoning laws and restrictions on the limits the dancers could interact with customers to regulate the industry. So realistically, that's good. I'm glad that they regulated things, which is nice. Though we'll get to that later on. The 60s and 70s saw a steep rise in strip clubs as there was a sexual revolution going on, and it was becoming more accepting to display sexuality, which is amazing. I think that we should keep doing that. And I think it's dumb that being sexual is looked down upon. In the 1970s and 80s, almost every strip club put poles on stage as it became oh my god, why can't I speak? As it became popular among strippers. Also, fun fact, breast implants became popular because big boobs became synonymous with strippers, which still kind of is synonymous with strippers as big boobs. The lap dance started out in Montreal in the early 90s. Oh, you filthy Canadians. Eventually, it made its way to the States in like the late 90s. So it took a little bit for us to have the lap dance, which is silly and bonkers. But after that, pole fitness started to become popular, and here we are today. It is amazing to see where it all began and to kind of see where we are now. And it's not just the ladies. There are male strippers as well. I'm sure we have all seen the ads for Thunder Down Under. And I actually went to a similar show about a year ago, which was really fun. And there is a video of me at it getting a lap dance because I got volunteered to be the example of how the show goes, which was fun and embarrassing. It exists. I'm not telling you where it is. Though the amount of work, that's put into it is crazy. Like, sorry, holy crap. It's insane. And I'm sure that there are a lot of fucking crazy people out there that you need to be careful of. These days, strip clubs aren't just frequented by middle-aged married men who are looking for a time to unwind after work before going home to the wife and kids. It's become more diverse with women as well as the younger crowd. It's, a nice mixture of human beings. There are roughly 4,000 strip clubs, probably more, in the country. And I'm talking United States. I live in the U.S., so I'm not talking Canada, Mexico, Europe, blah, blah, blah. In the United States, there are roughly 4,000 clubs. They vary from, the higher end to the seedy. There's performers who are crazy talented and are doing things that are extremely aerobic or acrobatic, not aerobic. Aerobic's like, whatever. To dancers who kind of just sway back and forth and crawl on the floor. And there's everything in between. There is quite literally something out there for everyone. I think that they 100% deserve respect. It can be really tough, and anyone who has the balls to do it deserves respect. I think that they deserve a safe place to work as well. Um, and that's not always the case. You know, I have seen, well, throughout my whole researching, um, I've seen a lot of stuff. I have learned so much about strippers I didn't know I was going to learn. Um, I learned about how their pay works as well. They're technically classified as independent contractors, which doesn't allow for workman's comp if they get injured on the job, which could definitely happen, especially in the conditions that they work in, which I'm not saying that strip clubs are horrible, but I'm just saying, like, with the things that they do, there's definitely a high chance that they could get injured. But because they're an independent contractor and they have to miss work, they don't get paid for missing work. And they also don't get health benefits, which sucks. Try getting fucking health benefits these days. Like, health insurance is stupid fucking expensive. So, like, not being offered health benefits at a job sucks. So this also means that clubs don't have to pay them minimum wage, and they also don't have to pay them overtime. So there have been many lawsuits that have challenged employment status, and the majority of the time the court does side with the strippers, but things don't change. The cost of dances haven't changed since at least 1990. So, and if you think about that too, inflation, you would think with inflation that the cost of dances would go up. Everything else goes up. Gas has gone up. Groceries have gone up. Car payments have gone up. Cost of houses have gone up. Literally, the cost of everything has gone up. I massage part-time on the side, and the cost of massage over the years has gone up. But the cost of a dance hasn't gone up for strippers, and you guys can argue all the time. Like, people can argue with me that they also get tips, but as someone who has worked in a tipping profession before, the tips aren't always reliable. You don't always get the same amount of tips. You could have a really good night, but you could also have a really bad night. And if that's what you're relying on for your income, like, it's not always super reliable. So you really have to you would have to do a lot of planning and thinking ahead as to, like, okay, I'm only going to get maybe this much money. So you have to set stuff aside. And if you are doing this because you're low on money and you have a kid to take care of or multiple kids to take care of, like, you have to think about what you're going to do. And yeah, people can be like, well, you can go find another job. Do you know how much a job pays you? They don't pay you fucking shit. I work one job right now. I'm working on getting a second job, and I have a kid. I can't afford an apartment because an apartment for a 1-bedroom apartment where I'm currently living is $1,200 a month. And that doesn't include utilities. Unless I have like a wicked high like level of college education, and I have college education. I am not a stupid person. But like, even then, like, you don't get paid a lot of money, but there are jobs that require you to have experience, but I can't get experience in a job that I can't get a job for. And on top of that too, like, there are jobs that will pay you more money, but you have to work overnights, but I have a kid. So it's tough too. And there's certain trades that, yeah, they make a lot of money, which is great if you are in that trade, but I'm not. So it's hard because I, like, currently, I'll just share information. I work in a lab. I love my job. I do not make a lot of money. I definitely do not make enough money to get a $1,200 a month apartment. That's just not realistic. There's no fucking way in hell that I can afford that. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. And I think that everything else is inflated, and it makes me a little angry when people like who work at fast food, and I don't care, are like, we need to raise our minimum wage to $15 an hour. I don't even make $15 an hour. And I am like thousands of dollars in debt for education for something that I don't even make $15 an hour for? Like, I don't want to pay you unless they're going to increase my pay as well. Then don't increase their pay. It gets me mad with pay. So pay your fucking strippers. Come on, guys. Like, they're working hard, and yeah, it's an education thing, but at the same time too, like, they're putting in the work. Their job is so physically demanding. Tip your fucking strippers. Just tip them. Tip them, please. Don't be dicks. Like, just tip your damn strippers. There have been reports of, dancers asking to see their contracts even, and either being told not to come back the next day because they wanted to see their employment contract, or even going as far as having a contract ripped up right in front of them. And to say that this treatment is beyond wrong is only putting it lightly. This, on top of sexual harassment that they can receive at work, is just insane to me. It's so wrong, and they don't ask for it. Yeah, that's their job, but there are rules, and and to not follow the rules puts them in danger. You don't want to put them in danger. There are rules for a reason. And again, yes, they're strippers. That's their job. That's what they're doing. But you do not touch the strippers. Don't touch the stripper. But like, it's a huge problem is the sexual harassment. And it's not fair. So not only are you not getting paid, you don't have a contract, so you don't have health insurance. You can't get injured at work because then if you are out of work, you don't get paid. But all of that on top of it, now you're getting sexually harassed at work. Like, dude, fucking stripper man, I love you. I'm sorry, that sounds like, it breaks my heart that people are so assholes. Just fucking assholes. So what it all boils down to is that strippers, they deserve rights and they have rights. Whatever their reason for being where they are and their choice as to why they chose that profession is none of your fucking business. It's none of your fucking business as to why they decided to be a stripper. Who cares? Maybe Karen hates working at the fucking grocery store and needs a night a week to do stripping because she likes it. That doesn't give you a reason to sexually harass her. Maybe another girl is struggling at school and paying all of her bills and trying to go get her like PhD or something and is having a hard time fucking affording her bills while working a full-time job as well as going to school full-time or part-time or whatever, and has no other option but to strip at night. Does not give you a right to touch her or sexually harass her. And, now she's dealing with shit at work and she can't, it doesn't fucking matter. Their reason does not fucking matter. You're sitting your ass in a strip club. You're paying them. Give them your money. They fucking deserve it. They are working really hard for it. And your ass is just fucking sitting there. Respect your damn stripper. Ugh. I joke sometimes that I just want to be a stripper because I'm poor, but honestly, I really don't think I could do it. You ladies and you men are some of the strongest motherfuckers, and I respect the shit out of you. And especially the more research I did, the more I realized how little I truly knew about that whole entire world. So, now that I went off on my rant about respect your fucking strippers and pay them, because do that, I decided to find some famous strippers. And I knew a good amount of them, but there were a couple that I didn't know. So here we go. So Eve Jeffers, which if you don't know, she's known by Eve. She's got the paw prints as the tattoo. So she's a rapper, and I know her music from when I was younger. I did not know that she was a stripper. She did write a song about it called Heaven Only Knows. You have Amber Rose. A lot of you might know her, potentially. She is an ex-girlfriend of Kanye West, and she hosts an annual slut walk to help end rape culture, including victim blaming and slut shaming of assault victims, which good on her, because no one who gets sexually assaulted deserved it. Doesn't matter how you dressed. You still didn't deserve it. Channing Tatum. I knew this one. There are videos all over the internet of his days as a stripper. He did produce, star in, and co-financed Magic Mike. Carmen Electra, dude, her fucking aerobic striptease videos were my jam. Catherine Zeta-Jones, this one I had no idea about. She was an exotic dancer and used the money for rhinoplasty and then went straight into movies. Dita Von Teese, which I did know about this one. If you don't recognize her name, she is actually a very well-known burlesque star and a fetish model. She started out as a stripper. Brad Pitt, color me fucking shocked because I had zero idea. Apparently, he was in a group called Dancing Bears, and that's Bares, not bears like the animal, with his frat boys. And they performed for female birthday parties and etc. Dude, what a fucking time to be alive. And then for my last one, I didn't write it down. I actually Googled it. A very well-known one, if you know much about it at all, is Gypsy Rose Lee. So she was known as, she's one of the most famous strippers. So I've actually listened to a podcast about her before. Like I've known, it was kind of like a this day, like not this day in history, but like kind of a history one. And like it was based on the entertainment industry. And she didn't do theatrical nudity, so she never actually got completely naked, but she had a reputation for disrobing gracefully. So she was more of a burlesque star, basically, is what she was. So like she had a couple like really good quotes that I loved. And one was like, bare flesh bores men. She had one that's like, oh boys, I couldn't, I'd catch a cold. I believe she had a very overbearing stage mother. They wrote a musical called Gypsy, which is based on the memoir of the same name. She was originally known as, the shy, bookish one, because I believe she had a sister. Yeah, she had a sister, and she was in a vaudeville act and they, went around some child labor laws there. So yeah, it was interesting. So, but she is a super, super famous, like she's a burlesque star, but it was cool. But there is a, musical written on her, which was cool. I thought that was an interesting information fact. But yeah, so thank you for listening. Like I said, respect your strippers, tip your strippers, be nice to them. And thank you for listening. Have a wonderful afternoon, night, day, blah, blah, blah. Same thing I say every single week, and I'm never gonna stop. And I will talk to you again next week. Have a good one.